Hello and good morning. I want to talk briefly today about prayer and the gospel that's set for today, which is from chapter 6 of John's Gospel. I remember a time in my Christian journey when I wanted to find out more about prayer. I went to talk with a wise and trusted priest, and he encouraged me to pray the daily office, that is, to use a particular set of prayers and readings each day as a framework. At the time, my children were really very young, and so he advised me not to get hung up on praying at a set time each day, but rather to pray at the first opportunity that God gave me in the day. That was usually when my baby was having a nap. And so I began my journey into prayer, waiting with expectation each day for the time that God was going to give me. My priest said to me, if God wants you to pray, he will give you the time. Just make sure that you use it when it comes. It was, and still is, an incredibly exciting journey, and I discovered the reality of God in my life and found that God really did answer prayer. And then I began to read a bit more about prayer, and I read a wonderful book by a nun, Mother Mary Clare. And she says that prayer is God's activity in us and not a self-activated process of our own. Prayer is God's activity in us. When I first read that, I was really taken aback. I wanted my prayer to be about my activity, about what I wanted and what I wanted for other people. I wanted to change things by praying. And I thought, if prayer is God's activity in me, what if he wants something different from what I want? What if he asks too much of me? What if he brings to light things that I don't want to think about? Maybe that's a familiar fear for you as well. In prayer, really, I still wanted to be the one who was in control of the praying. And the idea that prayer was God's work was a bit alarming. It meant that God was in charge and not me. But slowly, over time, I found that it wasn't such a scary thing. My prayer became less of an asking and more of an offering, a giving myself over to God. And that inevitably meant giving him all of me, not hiding things from God, not trying to put on a brave face or a false face, but just being me before God. In today's gospel reading, Jesus tells his disciples that his purpose is to do God's will. And God's will, we learn, is that Jesus should lose nothing of what he has been given, but raise it up on the last day. Nothing is lost in Jesus. Everything and anything that we give to him in prayer, he can use and transform for his good purposes. That is the power of the cross and resurrection. And it was this truth that gave me confidence in my journey of prayer. And I hope it can give you encouragement and confidence too. Confidence to share anything with Jesus, good things, bad things, things you're afraid of, worried about, knowing that none of it will be turned away or lost, but accepted and transformed, raised up through his mercy and his grace.